Welcome to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes. And to those of you out there who are watching this live stream from Over 50 TV, that's my other YouTube channel. I want to welcome you all of you that are watching today or this morning, rather. It's one of those unusual times for me because I don't normally do a live stream or even a broadcast, any kind of a broadcast on a Saturday morning. But I've been remiss in answering questions and the questions from viewers, and I literally get dozens and dozens of questions every single week. And I thought, you know what, there's some questions here that I'm getting that I'm looking at, and I thought I would just pull them out from the questions I was answering early, actually late last night, and I wanted to share them with you. But the one that it really jumped out at me is kind of the theme, or I should say, is the title to this particular video, and it's from a guy who wrote me, and I'm assuming it's a guy. No, I shouldn't do that, right? I shouldn't assume. But the person says, I'm almost 60 and I need a side hustle. Any hope for me? And I kind of think it's like tongue in cheek, but you know what? It's probably really not tongue in cheek. It's one of those things where someone's thinking it, they're feeling it, and they're really feeling it, and they're older and they're worried and they're concerned, and they're like, I don't know what's going to happen to me. And normally I find when people ask me that question, it's because they've been working for some person at some company, and they're not having a good time. They're wondering what's happening to them in their life, and people 40 years old write this to me. People who are 50, they write it. 60, 70 years old. I got a person to comment I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes here, from somebody who is 70 years old, and she's actually asking me a question about business. Excuse me. Yeah, that is a U.S. Marine Cup. It is actually from my son-in-law, Andrew. He was a Marine. It's kind of funny with him. I remember I was with him in Virginia, and we were walking to some museums in Richmond, Virginia. And I said to him, I go, Andrew, I go, why did you join the Marines? And I wasn't saying it in a negative way. Because I always thought Army, but he says, because I wanted to be the best. And it really struck me. I mean, to this day, it's like, yeah, man, you are the best. He's a doctor. Now the guy came home, worked his way into, got his education and became a doctor. Really amazing dude. But anyways, that's another story. So listen, let's get to this story. Let's talk about, I'm almost 60 and I need a side hustle. Any hope for me? I'm going to put this panel up here. I create panels. That way it helps me to keep track of what's going on. So I'm almost 60. I need a side hustle. Any hope for me? And he puts an LOL. And then he said, he commented on this from this video, 10 high paying work from home jobs for people over 50. If you haven't watched that video yet, it's on Over 50 TV, I believe. I don't think it's on Side Hustle Rules, but anyways, you can check it out there. So like I said, I'm almost 60. So let me answer this question for everyone out there, whether you're 40 or 50 or you're 60. And I kind of want to just answer it with a little short story, maybe two little short stories. My mom was 60 years old, going on 61. She had never owned a business in her life, but I kind of think she'd been watching me. Like I built my first real big business was a chain of business to business magazines. And she saw how big that thing became. I think it was kind of an inspiration, but she was more of an inspiration to me than I was to her, I think. I don't know. But one day she said to me, she's 60, going to be 61. She's got lung cancer. My mom is dying. She's dying. She's going to die in within months. She actually passed away. And she says to me, she says, she says, I've been looking at this business down the street. It's a restaurant. She goes, I'm thinking I'm gonna buy it. It was actually called Kathleen's Restaurant. She would have changed it to Aggie's, I think. That was her name, Agnes. She says, I think I'm gonna buy that restaurant. And I remember looking at my mom, and I was really proud of her for saying that, because I'm thinking, you never ran a business in your life, but wow, that's pretty cool. Anything I can do, I'm going to help you to do it. I don't care what it is. But, it was her attitude. It was her belief in herself, knowing that she was sick, knowing that she was dying. It wasn't affecting her. Got another guy in his 70s who I knew, Mike Corey. And I used to call him Uncle Mike. He was a mentor to me. I loved the guy. He was just amazing. And I was building my business, and I looked up to him. And I remember I found out he was in the hospital, and I went to the hospital room to see Uncle Mike. And I didn't know how bad he was. I knew he was really bad, sick, but I walked in there, and I was shocked to see him laying on the hospital bed, in the hospital bed with needles in him and tubes in him. And I'm looking at him, and he's got bandages on his head with some tubes coming out of his head, and he didn't look good. He was a big dude, always like 6'2" or 3, whatever he was, and built. And here he was laying in bed, and he's in his I think it was in his 70s. I don't know, maybe mid 70s. And he looks at me and he says, "Lou, it's good to see you." And he says, he goes, "There's this business that I want to buy." And this was a long time ago. This was a long time ago, because the business that he wanted to buy, he said, I saw it in California when I was visiting California last time. It was you rent them, the storage units, and they weren't really big here at that point. This is how long ago this happened. But he wanted to buy these storage units and start building them. The guy was a multimillionaire, had businesses all over the place, made tons of money, put his younger brother through law school, made his younger brother successful. I don't know what his younger brother would have done without him, but Mike took him under his wing and helped his brothers, got his brothers started. But anyways, Uncle Mike is like laying there, and he's pointing his big long finger at me, telling me what he was going to do. And I thought, you know what, Mike, I'm proud of you too. I'm thinking to myself, but it's attitude. And that's the whole point here of both of these stories. It's all about attitude. It's about, I'm almost 60. I need a side hustle. Any hope for me? Well, there's always hope, but it's all about attitude, my friend. So I'm not going to be like everybody else saying, well, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you're not too old. It's all about attitude. It really is. It's attitude with everything. And you're going to find, I've got some more questions. I've got 5 questions I'm going to be talking about here. And this is the first one. It's all about attitude. You can do it if you want to do it, if you really are determined to do it. And I know this. I've done it. I've started over. I remember, starting from when I was quite young, starting a business, and then building that up and selling that and starting another one and then starting another one. It's just, you have to have that drive and that ambition and that desire, but you can do it if you have it. If my mom can do it, if Uncle Mike can do it, they had the attitude, the desire, and the dream. So yeah, so think about that, my friend. So let's get to the next one here before we get too much time into this thing, right? So next question is here, Diane J4303. She says, I'm a new sub. Thank you, Diane. I'm going to clap. Yeah. Thank you for being a new sub. I don't know if you're subbing to Over 50 TV or Side Hustle Rules. Hopefully you're subscribing to both. She says, thank you for sharing your list of great hustles. I have a question. Do you know where is the best place to find the inexpensive freelance bookkeeper to help me organize, set up my small e-commerce business? And she watched the top 10 side hustles for 2024, our official list. So Diane, here's what I would do. Number 1, I'm hoping you got some bookkeeping knowledge, even the most basic, because it helps you if you know something about the person you're going to hire. You know something about that particular skill. Example is when I built my chain of business magazines, I had no experience in accounting. So what I did is I just basically, or I should say bookkeeping. So what I did was I just, grabbed a book on accounting 101 and just started reading it, just trying to get a feel for it. But to answer your question directly, it does help to know something about bookkeeping so that when you hire somebody, when they're telling you something, that what they're saying is true. Now, that's why, or when references come in. Now, I had recommended to you, because I didn't answer this question. I did type it out, but I'm answering it here on the live stream. I recommended you use Fiverr or Upwork to find a bookkeeper. Those are 2 sites. I've used Upwork. I haven't used Fiverr, but I know a lot of folks use Fiverr for creative help. But I recommend just using Upwork. What you could do is look at some ads for bookkeepers to get an idea of what you're looking for. But it helps to know when I hire somebody, I kind of want to know a little bit about the job that a lot about the job that they're going to be doing for me. So yeah, so getting back to your question, to find the inexpensive freelance bookkeepers to help me organize, set up my small business. So here's the thing, and I just put that up on the screen because you want to find an inexpensive bookkeeper. Now, we all know you're going to get what you paid for or what you pay for. So to me, yeah, I'm definitely going to have a budget in mind, but I want to find out what's typical, but that's not going to drive me. So if what's typical is you pay $50 an hour or $20 an hour, I want to know that, but I'm going to say this to you. Just because I know that doesn't mean I'm going to offer less, or it doesn't mean I might even offer more. It just means that I want to know what the range is, but I dictate. I will always dictate what I pay. No one's dictating what I pay to me. And I just want to give you my philosophy on it. I hire a writer or I hire a graphic designer. They give me their hourly rate. You know what? I know that job. I know those jobs. If whatever it would be, I want to know about the job, as I said, but you want to know the job, but I'm dictating. If a writer tells me what he or she's going to charge me, if it fits with what I want to pay, I do it. So that's my answer to you. Check out Upwork, check out Fiverr, get an idea in your mind what you want to pay for. Know that, remember though, that you get what you pay for, but also know that you dictate. It's your money. The man with the gold rules. Well, you're the woman with the gold. You should rule. You should tell them what you're willing to do. Find somebody good. Go to Fiverr. Go to Upwork. Maybe if you know somebody who is in business, ask them who they use. I do it all the time. I like references. I love references. So that's my answer to your question, hopefully. Let's get to the next one here. Computer training for seniors. This is from my good friend, Dave Fredericks. So Dave's actually making a comment, and I put this up here because Dave's a man of wisdom. I will say that. He says, find something that you love doing. He says, money must not be the prime motivator. Somebody said, if you make money, your God, it will plague you like the devil. And now he watched my #1 side hustle for 2024, if you are over 50. And that was on my Over 50 TV YouTube channel. So he's talking about money, and money's never been the motivator for me. And the idea, the dream, those are the motivators for me. But you got to make sure that you're making money. You got to make sure that you're making money. Now, I understand that you're going to lose money, or you could lose some money when you're just starting out. Some folks don't understand that. I had a business partner who had a very difficult time understanding building something until we built something, or I should say I built something that was doing millions. And then maybe at that point, the person realizes, well, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you got to invest to make money. But at the same time, don't make money your God. Make the idea, make the dream, and just make sure that you're able to afford it, to afford to lose. But, I tell people all the time, start a side hustle because it's the easiest thing to start. You can close it down. Usually doesn't cost a lot of money to do. But yeah, that to me is the most important thing, is doing something I can afford to do, not making money why I'm doing it. Because if it's making money why you're doing it, you know what? You're going to give up when you're losing money. And sometimes, most of the time when you're starting a business, you're going to lose money at the beginning. So don't make money your God. Hopefully I explained that properly. Next question here, or next comment. Lou, love your content. This is from Patricia Suk. She says, I just turned 75 and just retired. I had a gluten-free bakery business for 20 years. She said, just sold the business, but was thinking about how to become a gluten-free food consultant, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do it. Any advice you could give me would be appreciated. And she's another one who watched my #1 side hustle in 2024, if you are over 50. Patricia, I am so glad that you sent me this comment, because I think this can really help a lot of folks out there. You want to be a consultant. Now, she just sold her gluten-free food business after 20 years. And now she's thinking, I'm 70 years old, and this goes back way back to the not way back, but to this beginning of this program when I said it's not about age, it's about attitude. You know, Dave Frederick said something about the only what time and age is important is when it comes to cheese. That's one of his comments. I always like Dave's comments, but he's so right. You know, she's 70 years old. She's looking at becoming a consultant. You know, that's prime age. That is prime to get this business rolling. So let me tell you, give you some suggestions here. Go to Facebook, type in Gluten Dude. I believe that is his Facebook page. This guy has like 40,000 followers. I think he may have a YouTube channel. But what he does is he offers advice to people who have who want gluten-free food. And he has built up a huge following. I don't know what he's making or what he's earning, but I can tell you this, he's earning money. And he launched this app, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago. He charges for the app a subscription. But what he did is he built this consulting business, and he's expanded that consulting business to incorporate other, he added other businesses, other revenue streams, and he incorporated some of the other elements that I think make a successful business, because you don't want to rely just on one source of income. My suggestion to you is open a page, get a page, a group on YouTube, become known, build that up. At the same time you're doing that, I would go to or subscribe to ConvertKit. ConvertKit is a program that I use to capture email addresses. And then what I do is, when I get email addresses and I want to send out to a group of people, or hundreds of people in this case, or thousands, I can send out messages. But you go to Facebook, build a group, get a following, capture their email addresses, build up street cred. You already got it. 20 years in business, you got street cred. A lot of folks out there, a lot of you out there who have experience. You're wondering, how do I go ahead and build a business? Well, this is how you do it. You build that following. Maybe you work for somebody. Maybe, she had her own business, but maybe you work for somebody else. And you've got that skill, you've got those experiences, you have knowledge. So now what you want to do is find a way to share that knowledge. And one of the easiest ways to do it, I mean, no expense really, is Facebook. So I recommend that. I use Facebook a little bit, but I'm primarily using both my Over 50 TV YouTube channels. But I still recommend starting out with Facebook, building it up. And that's, to me, the easiest way. But check out Gluten-Free Dude, man. I am really, really surprised at how big he has become. But there are other Facebook pages and YouTube channels. Look at what other people are doing, mirror what they're doing. That's one of the things that I've done in my life. As I look at what other folks are doing, I see if I can improve. When I started my weekly newspaper, what I did, I started as a monthly, and then I saw what other people were doing, and I figured out a way to go from monthly to weekly. And I did that. But I looked at what other folks were doing in my niche, and I looked at their weaknesses, and I determined that I was going to offer a product that would not have those weaknesses, that it would actually, I turn their weaknesses into my strengths. So that's what I recommend you do. But check out Gluten Dude is a recommendation I'm going to have for you. So let's get on to the next one here. Let me see where I'm at. Let's see if I've already got that. Yeah, I got that one already. So let's get to the next one here. This is from a Brett Osman. And Brett watched my video, number one side hustle in 2024 if you are over 50. Yeah, he says, as a photographer, I'm thinking I could incorporate my own photos into a visual tour guide. Who knows? Maybe drum up a side hustle within a side hustle. So let me explain a little bit. Let me give you some perspective here. I created this number one side hustle in 2024. Okay, I created this. I did this video. It's on Over 50 TV, so check it out. And what I said is, to me, a side hustle that could incorporate all the advantages, that folks have, especially if you're older, is to create a local tour guide, make it a digital tour guide, because if it's digital, it's going to be less expensive to do. So create a tour guide. And there were lots of reasons why I believe this is a good idea. You can just hop on the video to save some time here, because I don't want to. It's a fairly long video. So he's saying, hey, I'm a photographer. He's saying, you know what I could do? I could do a visual tour guide. I love this idea. And Brett, I hope you do it, because as a side hustle, you do a visual tour guide. You're a photographer. Visuals are so important in a tour guide. And when I traveled to St. Croix, Virgin Islands last year, last January, and I'll tell you what, I took a lot of photos. And if I was going to do a tour guide in the British Virgin Islands in St. Croix, I would use those photos. So yeah, Brett, tour guide using your photos. You've already got one business. Now what you're doing is you're creating another revenue stream. And it's a revenue stream that complements your primary business so much that it's really not going to suck up more time. But what it will help you do is market your business. And then once you get that tour guide, as I explained in the video how to do it, how to create a tour guide, a digital tour guide, you just create that tour guide. You kind of let it, you can even leave it alone, because it's going to be passive income. Charge a subscription for it. If you give it away for free, which is another option, what you do, though, is you're going to capture those email addresses, and then you can sell them on your photography business. But I love this idea. Let me pop this on the screen one more time. This is kind of exciting to me. He's a guy who loves business. He's a photographer. He's got a visual. He's talking about incorporating his own photos into a visual tour guide. He says, maybe jump up a side hustle within a side hustle. I think I'm reading this book, and it's called The Innovator's Dilemma. It's supposed to be this really famous book, and I heard about it because it's such a good book. And I thought I'd read it, and I started reading the first few pages, and it was kind of complicated. But what it got into, some of the really key points, is when you start a business, and he's talking about disruptive technology, actually. But when you start a business, sometimes that business will evolve into something else. It's exactly what I did with my newspaper. I'm sorry, my magazines. It was called Small Business News. And I created that making no money. We weren't making any money for a while. But then I decided I came up with the idea to do trade shows. So I started a local trade show, which generated more money. So I had these two complementary businesses that made money. You've got a photography business. So starting this tour guide is a brilliant idea for you. And I really hope that you do it. But again, I go back to this for all you folks out there who are watching. There are lots of opportunities out there. Sometimes we do one and it evolves into the other. And that really is the point of The Innovator's Dilemma, the book, is that companies will start one business and not realize, or sometimes that a business evolves into something else, and that evolves into something else. And before they know it, they're growing. So my experience backs that up. So when I'm reading this book, I know it's right. When I see what Brett's proposing to do, creating this tour guide, I know it can work. Make money selling sponsorships, advertising, subscriptions, so many ways to do it. When we talk about creating, somebody sells her gluten-free business and she decides that she wants to go or thinks about going on and becoming a consultant, it's a natural evolution to growing and evolving and generating more revenue. So I could go on and on. I get all excited about business. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. But if you watch enough of my videos, if you meet me, you talk to me, you know that I do get excited about business, because I know that it is better to work for yourself. And that's why you're probably watching Side Hustle Rules, because you're thinking, or you're watching Over 50 TV because you're thinking, you know what, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to make some money. And if you're lucky, if you're fortunate, if you really work hard, you know what, you could build that side hustle. And if that side hustle doesn't work, maybe it evolves into something else, which evolves into something else. But yeah, create that side hustle. So listen, that's all I got for you. Let me see if I have any comments here. Looks like I got a couple here. It says here, morning, Lou. Glad to catch your live stream finally. That is Dilly. Good to see you, buddy. I am glad to have you on here. And you put a big smile on my face because you're an amazing guy, as you know, I admire. Another person, good morning. This is Kevin Mavers. Good morning, all. First time catching the live stream. I'm 63, and there is more opportunity out there right now than I have ever seen in my life. And Kevin, thank you, my friend. Thank you, buddy. Yes, there is opportunity out there. And I'm going to tell you one thing that gives us a lot of opportunity is ChatGPT. I get no money for this. This is not a paid endorsement, but I know the how much it's helped me with my business, and I hope it can help you. I know it can help you with yours. So, Kevin, there's a lot of opportunity out there, buddy. I'm glad you said that, and I know it's true. You know it's true, Dilly. I know you know it's true. So let's get together. Let's work together. Let's build something. By the way, I do want to say this. This is self-promotion, I guess, but I do have a link. It's called buymeacoffee.com/Lou Reyes. If you like something you heard today, if you got some value in it, you want to buy me a cup of coffee, it's really digital. This is a great thing for all of you out there to do as well. Is what you do is you buy a coffee for somebody. Somebody gives you something, maybe like we're doing here today, value. You buy them a coffee. And you do it on that site, buymeacoffee.com/Lou Reyes. And it's a way for you to make money. It's a way to show your support for this channel, for what we're doing here. Don't have anything else for you today, my friends. Other than that, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Send me your comments, send me your questions, and I will get to them. Maybe we'll even put them here on Side Hustle Rules or Over 50 TV. All right, friends. As I say, have a great day, everybody. Come on.